Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about success. Success comes in many different forms, but I believe that it starts with how you feel about yourself, and that resonates with every other kind of success. We've already covered 3 tiers. It's like peeling the onion, so to speak. The first one is quieting that chatty mind. The second one is freeing yourself of all emotions because they don't really do us good. It's good to have happy emotions, but negative emotions, anger, jealousy, etc., are only harmful in the end. Number 3 is being in the present moment. So we have freeing ourselves from the chatty dialogue that's going on in our heads. 2, be free of all emotions so that you're just being you, you're just being present. And number 3 is actually being present. Only living in the present moment because that's all there really is. And you are your best self when you live in the present moment. Number 4, we're going to talk about we all have a perception of ourselves. We all perceive how we think others are viewing us. We think we know how others are viewing us. But the big picture is we don't know. And it could be a total lie that we've convinced ourselves that if we carry ourselves a certain way or look a certain way that people are going to have these thoughts about us. But the truth is, we really don't know what people think about us. However, if we become free of all the emotions, free of the chatty dialogue, and just are able to be yourself 100% of the time, then, well, first of all, I think you then become successful in life because you become happy. And happiness breeds health. And I believe that when we are happy and healthy, the doors open in every other direction, whether it be a job or anything that you're going for. Because people like to be around good energy, happy people. The truth is, we will never know what people actually think about us. But think about a child starting from a clean slate. They just enjoy themselves. They play. They don't really care what people think about them. If they're not feeling good, they cry. They don't care who they disturb. But for the most part, they play and they're focused on what they're playing. And people love children. What is it about children that we love? I don't know, the innocence, the fact that they haven't been jaded yet, that they are themselves. So I believe to be your true, authentic self, you need to do the 3 steps that we mentioned, but also adding number 4 to the mix, and that's living in the present moment. And that's basically what I'm talking to you about, being childlike. If you follow these 4 steps, and I know it's easier said than done, but even if you have to master one at a time, starting with quieting your mind. Just work on that for a few days and you'd be shocked how many times you catch yourself running amok with your thoughts. And then once you master that, and this has to do with not looking in the past. And my first episode, in fact, is about you can glance at the past but don't stare, because oftentimes the past stirs up emotions and negative emotions at that. The past is done and over with. So it's not a bad thing to free yourself of emotions. I personally, when I started doing this exercise, I was afraid of being zombie-like. But you're not zombie-like. Actually, by freeing yourself of emotions, you are present with yourself. If there's something that's funny or that makes you happy, that shows. If there's something that you are presently feeling what you're feeling at the time, and that shows, and that is so refreshing. And then that does lead to number 3, which is being in the present moment. In other words, just enjoying life at that moment that you're in. When you have that job interview, be fully present, be there, not letting your head be full of stuff that happened yesterday or that you're worried about is going to happen in the future, but just live your life exactly where you're at, and it shows. And that brings a natural confidence. And there is nothing more attractive than confidence. I don't care how many microblades you have done to your eyebrows or whatever. Confidence is probably one of the most attractive things that a person can have. We've all been around people who appear to have everything going for them, but they lack in confidence. And that's easily picked up. And it takes away from who they could be. So with all this being said, it comes back to being your best self. So if you practice these 4 basic steps, you will be who you were meant to be. There's only one of you on this planet. And if you can stay in the present moment and be your best self, and to be your best self, it's easier than not being your best self, because when you try to be something that you're not, it actually takes more work than just letting everything go and be who you are. And I don't believe there's anything more wonderful than being who you are, living present, quieting that chatty mind. It's true, when we are being ourselves, yes, people will judge or form an opinion, but that's okay, because 10 people, 10 different opinions. And it's not your job to try to think a certain way about you or worry about the opinion that they formed about you, because there's a knowing within yourself that you are who you were meant to be. And that is our true, authentic self. Wow, what freedom just to be who we are, who we were born to be, just living in that, being you without the baggage and the stress laying on our shoulders about trying to be someone we're not. We're all human, we all make mistakes, but if you can feel good about who you are and not having to live in the past or the future, or what if this person thinks this about me or that person thinks that, it doesn't matter. When you are who you are your best self. And this is all about being your best self. And when you become your best self, then you have found success. You have found success in happiness. And I believe happiness relates to good health. And good health relates to good energy. That relates to more positive thinking. So then when you go after the job you want, if that's how you measure success, then you will be successful in career as well. I believe if you can develop to being your true authentic self, to being your best self, you will be successful in every area of your life. So now with this new component in our life, a confidence, looking at things in a more positive way, and realize the perception that we have had of ourselves could and probably is a lie. And people don't actually think about us as we thought they did. The even bigger picture is, it doesn't matter how people think about you. What matters is how you think about yourself. With all that being said, the basic truth and the key to health, happiness, success would be to let go of trying to be as successful as you will in terms of health and happiness. If you can let all the facts that we thought about ourselves, that we think people think about us, this facade that we thought we were giving off is probably a lie. So you might as well just be you. And by being you, you will be shocked what a magnet it is to others. And you don't have to worry about what's going to happen when you walk into a room, when you walk into an interview, because you know that no matter what the outcome is, no matter what happens in the interview, you are being your best self. So again, start with the 3 components if you have to break them down, because it's a lot to digest at once. It sounds simple, but it's shockingly more difficult than you would think. To quiet your mind, that's a challenge right there. I don't know how we fell into letting our minds run amok, but they have and they do. And so learning to quiet it and knowing that most of what it says is a lie, but your mind is there when you need it. Thank God for that. The other is letting go of emotions. You might think of something from the past, which going to the past is never a good idea, but if you do, it's amazing how you can think of something that was upsetting then, and it will still upset you to this day. In fact, I shared with you on my last episode about how when I would have to do my physical therapy and they would say, stand up, my heart would actually start beating. So if your mind can affect your heart to start beating faster, because I hate to admit it, but I'd be somewhat fearful that I was going to fall. If it can affect your heart, imagine how it can affect your body. So if you get your mind in check, then I believe your body will follow. And thirdly, once you have pretty much mastered those first 2, living in the present moment, how freeing is that? That you are fully present where you are, and people that you are with will notice it as well. That you're more engaged in the conversations, that you're listening, and that you're truly there with them or truly there. I know for a while the big deal was multitasking. I'll tell you, every time I try to multitask is when I tend to make all my mistakes. So I think being present, being focused on what you're doing at that particular time is key. And the 4th thing is get that preconceived idea about what people think about you or who they see you as out of your head, because more than likely it's a lie. And so have the freedom just to be you, and people will see what they need to see. Just be yourself and people will see what they need to see. This is what I would like to call the formula for success. And again, as I said, success comes in many different forms. It's not always career, although that's part of it. But having one component without the other leaves a bit of a void. So you need to put all these components together, and then you will have true happiness. That's happiness with yourself when you're on and off the job. And it's that knowing, it's that confidence of knowing that you will do a good job because you do good at everything you do, because you're happy, because you have the energy now, because you feel good about yourself. With that being said, I say God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.